This is Spodek Tajemnic, first Pink Floyd podcast in Poland. In Polish, it's Spodek Tajemnic. In English, it means saucer full of secrets. Previously, we made an interview with Dom Beacon from Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets, and now we want to recall an interview with Roger Waters' guitarist, Dave Kilminster. It was an interview recorded in
2018
for one of the Polish local radios, and only few parts of it were aired. So we asked Dave if he would agree to publish this interview in a longer form. He agreed, so here we are. Michał, we met him in Sopot, in one of the cafes.
Yes, for me it was a great surprise that he decided to spend that much time with us. We met in the cafe in one of the famous places in Sopot, which is the city very close to Gdańsk, which is well known for Pink Floyd fans worldwide.
By the sea.
Yes, but it's by the sea. And David Gilmour performed in Gdańsk in 2006, and Roger Waters also performed in Gdańsk, but it was in 2018 in Ergo Arena. So we managed to catch Dave just before the second show that Roger and the band did in Poland on the Us+Them tour.
That's true. So we asked Dave about the ongoing Us+Them tour, of course about Roger as the boss, and also about the political content of the show from the perspective of the guitarists. What's more, Dave told us also about the story of recording Is This the Life We Really Want? He was participating to sessions, but
his parts were not included in the final version of the mix.
Yes, that's true. So here it is, an interview with Dave Kilminster. Here we go. We met Dave in August 2018, when the Us+Them tour had been going on for over a year. I asked how the songs had changed during that time, having already been played dozens of times at American and European concerts.
So I'm not listening to it as you're listening to it at all. What I try and do every night is try and play better than I did the previous night. So I'm constantly trying to improve things like guitar tone, vibrato, timing, everything that's kind of involved, trying to get the nuances a little closer to the album, trying to get the sounds a little closer, clean sounds a little cleaner, overdriven sound, just I'm constantly trying to get better. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do that with everything. I do that in my life. My whole life is a constant battle to get better, and I think that's what keeps you hungry, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
hungry for what?
Hungry to get better. There's a lot of guitarists out there that they sort of reach their peak round about early to mid-20s, and then everything else they do is kind of downhill. The creativity, the technique, the ideas, and there's no reason for that. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no reason why that you can't still retain that hunger, retain that curiosity, that interest, and actually try and become a better player. I'm still learning now. I've been playing guitar for a long time, but before I came here, I was practicing in my room with some new things that I'd never tried before, because I just want to get better at everything. So that's what keeps it fresh for me, this concert. Mm-hmm. I'm not thinking, oh God, we're playing Dogs again. I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see if I can make that clean sound a little cleaner, maybe slow down the chorus slightly. That middle solo, maybe I want to get it a bit more like the album with that short delay. Just constantly trying to get simple things that nobody's going to notice.
And that's how Killer was hunting on stage the day before the interview at the Tauron Arena in Cracow. Interestingly, even when he wasn't playing any parts, he was constantly practicing left-hand movements on the fretboard.
When you tour, or when you play live, you tend to play harder. And after you've played harder for a few days or a few weeks, the calluses on your fingers become harder, and it sounds better. So even though I've been playing at home, I play at home and I watch TV, but you don't play with that same intensity, with that same left hand pressure. So yeah, I played the first couple of songs and I thought, ow. Yeah, I need to kind of, get these calluses kind of, a little tougher. I have very soft skin anyway. If I don't play for a day or so, then, it gets very soft. So yeah, that's kind of me just warming up a little, because I don't tend to play before I go on stage.
Roger Waters' Us+Them tour was full of multimedia. The music was synchronized with the videos. How much spontaneous playing was there during these concerts?
There's no spontaneity at all. Everything's played with a click track. Maybe one or two moments. I think we played Mother last night. That's not with a click track. Roger likes it kind of free, so he just kind of starts when he feels like it and speeds up or slows down, whatever.
But also Wait for Her is playing sometimes instead of it, yeah?
Yes. Well, that's with the click. We play that with the click.
There were a few versions of this song. Like there was one night with another guitar solo. There's other ending of the song.
Yeah,
Roger has a lot of ideas.
He's a perfectionist. He's constantly messing with. I mean, it's more with the show, to be honest. At this point, the songs, the main bulk of the set is the same. There'll be a couple of tiny little changes here and there, but it's mainly with the visuals and the lighting cues and sort of production ideas. So, but Wait for Her is something that we've not really played much. So every time we play it, it's like, yeah, let's do something different with that final verse. And I didn't like that the other day. Let's do this. And yeah, he's just perfectionist, constantly working, which is kind of cool. We don't just kind of relax and go, oh yeah, whatever. I think maybe that's even part of it as well, because we know that Roger's listening. So you can't play this stuff. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't just go, oh yeah, whatever. He notices when you play well or where you play badly, and he comments on it, and he's always listening. He hears everything. So we just try and do the best we can every night.
I asked Dave about the political content of the Us+Them concerts. How did audiences in different countries react, for example, to the very explicit part of the concert aimed against Donald Trump?
Everywhere we've played outside of America, it's gone down really well. It's gone down brilliantly. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a fan of politics in music. I was brought up on classical guitar, classical music. Rachmaninoff, Paganini, Debussy, all that stuff. There's no politics in that. It's just pure art, and I love that. So that's what kind of drew me into music in the first place. I mean, I think it's great that Roger is using his voice to point out things like that. And, as far as the Trump thing's concerned, I completely 100% agree. Most of the place, as I said, everywhere outside of America, it's gone down really well. And actually most of America was good. There were certain places, I can't remember them specifically, but there was a couple of places where people would, were booing or would stand up and they'd just like that and walk out. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether it helps. Maybe it does help. Maybe it helps when people raise their voices against obvious corruption like this. I don't know. I mean, I can't see a Trump fan going along and watching the show and thinking, oh, okay, I understand now. No, he's actually a really bad person. I can't see that at all.
Do you need to share the same views as Roger to play in his band?
I don't think that's necessary, but if it was something that I deeply disagreed with, then I would have second thoughts about doing something. I mean, for example, if this was a pro-Trump tour, then I wouldn't be doing it.
How is Roger Waters as a boss?
He's great to work for. If you can do what he asks, then he's the perfect boss. If you can't do what he's asking, then he doesn't suffer fools at all. He'll tell you you're an idiot if you can't sort something out. He's very, very blunt, but I like that. There's no grey areas. You don't play something you think, oh, I'm not sure whether Roger likes that. He'll tell you if he likes it or not, and he'll make it very, very obvious. it's like, that's great, that's shit. So yeah, it's perfect. I love that, because my first job is to make the boss happy. My second job is to keep the audience happy, and my third job, I guess, is to play well with the band, so hopefully they're happy too. But it's kind of in that order, you want to keep the fans happy and you want to keep the boss happy. The boss knows exactly what he wants to hear, so you just kind of try and do that every night. And it's nice that he's kind of kept me from, because he's obviously changed up the band quite a lot.
Indeed, before the Us+Them tour, the longtime guitarists G.E. Smith and Snowy White left the band. They were replaced by Jonathan Wilson and Gus Seifert. Joey Waronker replaced Graham Broad on drums. We asked Dave about the reason for these changes.
Yes, so he was working with Nigel. Nigel brought in some people that he knew, and Roger started playing with them, recording with them, and thought, actually, I really like these guys. The drummer especially is very much in that Nick Mason style of drumming. Is very kind of laid back and lazy, whereas Graham was a lot more energetic and kind of high powered, which I loved. Personally, I loved that, and I was next to him, for over 300 shows on Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, and it was just, amazing. I loved playing with Graham. That's not to say I don't enjoy playing with Joey as well. It's a completely different energy. So I just got back from touring with Stephen. I'd been out on tour for most of the year, and it was early December, and I just thought, this is so nice. I'm just going to get back in my house. I've got about 3 weeks before Christmas. I'm just, I don't want to see another plane. I don't want to see another car. I just want to unpack and relax. And the next day, Roger called me. He said, yeah, I'm working with these guys in LA. I'm considering using them for the tour. I'd like your opinion. I'm like, sure, whatever you need. So expecting that he was just going to send a recording or something. And then the next morning, I had a phone call from the management saying, yeah, Roger's wondering if you can pop over to LA this afternoon.
Like, just in a second.
Yeah. I haven't even unpacked my suitcase from this huge tour that I did with Stephen, which is crazy. So I said, okay, well, when's the flight? And they said, this was about 10:30 in the morning. They told me the time of the flight. So they said that, you're going to be picked up about 12. And you're like, I've got an hour and a half. Okay, yeah, whatever, let's just do it. So, but it was great. I went over there, met the guys, hung out.
Dave showed up in the studio during the recording sessions for Is This the Life We Really Want? Despite this, we don't hear his parts on the album.
It was a weird situation. Nigel, I sat in the studio with the guitar and I was playing all these ideas and, what I thought would be nice guitar parts. And he's saying, oh yeah, it sounds a bit kind of Pink Floyd and, I'm like, well, isn't that what Roger's fans kind of like? But he was pretty adamant that he didn't want any sort of big guitar solos on it and stuff, so I ended up not being on it at all.
However, what we don't hear on the album, Dave performs live.
Yeah, I get to play bass on one number, which I love. I love playing bass. But yeah, I feel like some extra guitar parts would have been nice. I think we've added some anyway from the album.
Especially in Picture That.
Yes. Exactly.
This ending with solos.
Yes. Yeah. That was the kind of stuff that I was hearing when I was in the studio, and I'd like, yeah, but no, okay. Can we just, yeah, no. So I kind of gave up, but yeah, it's difficult, Previously, a lot of bands would actually write stuff and they would tour it before recording, which is amazing, because then you start getting ideas and you realize what works with an audience, what doesn't work.
That was the story with Dark Side of the Moon.
Exactly.
They were playing it for a year, probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Before YouTube, before people with iPhone cameras and stuff like that, when you could actually be expressive and you could try new things without worrying that it's going to be online tomorrow. I think in some ways, I think it's holding certain artists back because they're not going to be so experimental. They're not going to try out new ideas and stuff because they're just thinking, when you're experimenting, you have to be prepared to fail. When it's in the back of your mind that, okay, people are filming this, so this, if I screw up now, this is going to be out there forever. So I'm going to play safe. And I think a lot of people probably do play safe nowadays because of that sort of, makes you uncomfortable. People kind of filming you all the time. It's like, look, this is supposed to be a live experience. This is supposed to be a one-off, once in a lifetime thing. But when you're aware of being filmed, then you just think, I'm not going to try out that new lick. Yeah, you just kind of, I try not to think about it because it does hold you back slightly. But I mean, yesterday I forgot one of the solos, or I was about halfway through and I couldn't remember the next bit at all. I had no idea what was coming up. That's what happens when you don't play for 3 weeks. Oh God, I heard it. It was horrible. I was trying to.
I don't know.
I'm not going to tell you because you'll find it on YouTube and it'll be, and it'll be like, yeah, right, okay, yeah, that's really awful, and it was awful. But it was my fault. I should have looked at the songs before playing the gig, and I just thought, I'll be okay. It's only been 3 weeks, but yeah, no, just completely blanked on this one little piece.
Returning to music, I naively asked Dave what it means to be a good guitarist.
The most important thing is to play music. Music is all kinds of tempos, fast and slow, so you should be able to play the guitar. For me, you should be able to play it and make it sound good. That's the most important thing, to produce a musical sound. And I think if you're a member of the audience, I mean, people in general would rather hear an average guitarist with a good sound than a great guitarist with a terrible sound, because you're playing music. In fact, when you ask people to make a sound like a guitar, they tend to go, it's like, no, it shouldn't sound like that. It should be really fat and rich. And when I used to teach, I would always be amazed that students would come into the room and they'd maybe plug into one of the amps and they turn up the distortion all the way and they turn up the reverb all the way, because what they do is they try and find a sound that feels comfortable to play. The whole point of music is to play something that sounds good. So what you need to do is to get the guitar and the amp and whatever, play one note. Does that sound good, or can that sound a bit better? And then work with that. It's generally a lot cleaner than most people are comfortable with. I don't like a lot of distortion because it thins out the sound. It compresses the sound as well, so you lose a certain amount of dynamics. Generally, you have to raise the action because the guitar sounds better when the strings are ringing more. You have to use heavier strings. You have to make the guitar difficult to play music generally, to make it sound nice. For me, I mean, that's just part of being a musician. There's certain element. I mean, there's lots of other elements. There's being organised, being a good person.
We're stepping back in time a bit. How did the collaboration with Roger come about? Dave mentioned the first meeting with Waters and the audition before the Dark Side of the Moon tour in 2006.
I heard about it through my manager. So I went down and I played guitar, but they also talked to me, and they're trying to find out, because the 2 hours you're on stage is quite short. The 22 hours remaining where you're on tour with someone, it depends what sort of person you are, so they're checking me out. They're thinking, is he into drugs? Does he smoke? Is he gonna be reliable? Is he gonna start panicking during big shows? Or all these little things are kind of important. So being able to get on with people, having the right attitude, not having an ego is really important, especially with someone like Roger. Roger has a huge ego, so there's no room for other egos.
It's visible.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no room for other egos. So, if you have one, then you leave it at the door when you walk in, and you try and play his music as best you can.
So Dave created a picture of an exciting yet structured life. Yet many people associate big rock tours with constant parties or substance use.
You can't do that. especially on a big tour like this. You know, nobody on the tour. Let me just think about this. I don't think anyone takes drugs. I mean, for me personally, it's never interested me. I couldn't care less about drugs. I don't even drink that much. I don't need alcohol. I try and look after myself. I've been working out again since I started touring again. Me and Ian, the saxophone player, we do this. It's called Insanity. It's a fitness course. We've got the videos are on the computer. Yeah, there's a lot of cardio stuff in it. There's some strength training stuff. It's kind of crazy. You know, I think the days of sex, drugs and rock and roll are kind of gone, really. You know, because you can't roll up on stage, you know, kind of completely out of it or drunk or whatever, because next day it'll be on YouTube. In fact, before you even get back to the hotel, it's going to be on YouTube. People are commenting. It will affect ticket sales, and you know, no, can't do it. So it's very, very different nowadays, I think. You know, I have my lemon and ginger tea before I go on stage, and it's very sad, I know, but people have paid a lot of money and they want to hear this stuff played as well as possible, so that's what I try and do every night. You know, which means looking after myself, which means staying fit and staying together. But to me, that's all part of being a good musician again. You know, that's a huge subject.
After the Dark Side of the Moon tour, it was time to revisit another classic Pink Floyd album, The Wall. From 2010 to 2013, the band played a total of 219 concerts. I asked Dave about his memories from this distinctive tour.
That show was just so ridiculously popular. It was amazing. It felt like we were creating history when we were playing, in a way, because the Wall kind of just took on a life of its own, you know. Yes. I don't think it was very many at all, the original Wall tour. It was too expensive, and yeah, Roger just found a way of making it cheaper, and that sounds terrible, but yeah, no, I loved that tour. That was just so much fun. Everything about it was so much fun.
Finally, I have to mention, Dave Kilminster also recorded a few solo albums. The last one, And the Truth Will Set You Free, was released in 2014. In 2018, we asked Dave about a new solo album, which, by the way, has not been released to this day.
Okay, I have 641 song ideas on my phone at the moment. When I start putting the album together, I'm going to sit through all of those ideas, make notes on each one, start piecing things together. I mean, it'll take days just to kind of try and, you know, but I know that I've got, you know, at least 5 albums worth of good stuff there, easy. So I'm hoping to do that next year. I don't think we're doing much next year. I've not recorded as much stuff as I would like at all. But I've been very lucky, you know, especially the last 4 years. It's almost been non-stop with the 2 years with Stephen.
Stephen, yes.
And then the 2 years with 2 years with Roger. It's just kind of, yeah, it's been crazy. So I think next year I'll have a chance to record some more stuff.